gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Cage Talk. Today, I have a gentleman who's an MMA fighter, who's fought in Bellator, he's fought in UFC. He is the heavyweight champion of Bare Knuckle. Don't mess with him. We have Joey Beltran. How you doing, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well.
How's that feel to be the heavyweight champion of bare knuckle boxing, man? That's pretty intense.
It's pretty cool, to be honest. But it's good for my friends and family. Like I feel like it's a big, more positive note for them. For me, I'm just like, it's just more hard work, just getting ready because I know everybody wants to come and try to take the belt. So
yep,
I'm just on grind work mode, and but it's nice that my mom can tell people my son's a world champion. That's cool.
That I bet you she's proud of you. And again, that's something cool. And people don't really, I guess, realize that until they have the belt or something, is that now you got a target on your back. You know, before when you're going for the gold and stuff, and you're trying to compete and get to that level and win that belt, there's technically there's no target. There's pressure, obviously, but there's no target. Now you got a target, and everyone's looking at you, and everyone wants to take that belt, man.
Yeah, man, you said it. That's basically it.
Yeah.
But, I welcome everybody. They can all get it, so no big deal. No big deal to me.
That's awesome. And again, you had a really good mixed martial arts career as well before going into bare knuckle. I mean, we talked about it before. You were in UFC, then you went to Bellator, and then you went back. So you were jumping back and forth from Bellator and UFC and stuff like that. Just tell me, how did you get into mixed martial arts? It was something that was just part of your nature that you eventually had to do, or is it something that you always found interesting?
Well, I mean, it was something like I've always wanted to be a pro fighter since I was a little kid. Since I was 5 years old, and my uncle Joey also, who took me to WWF, back then WWE now, WWF, and I remember Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Andre the Giant were the main event. And I remember thinking, but back then I thought it was real. I thought they were really fighting. So I was like, I want to do this. I want to fight in arenas. I want to be a pro fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I found out it was fake, like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
But then, like since I was little, I was always a fan of boxing. Grew up idolizing Julio Cesar Chavez, and I started boxing when I was about 10 years old, and I always wanted to be a pro boxer. I boxed until I was like 15 when I went to high school. Then I started wrestling, and then I got hurt my senior year of high school. So that kind of derailed all like athletic goals as far as like going to college or anything like that. And so then after that, I was just kind of just bummed on everything, just like upset, mad at the world, gotten really heavy into drugs and alcohol and got in trouble, went to jail for a little bit. Okay. So for like 18, 19, 21, 22, it was bad. And then I started cleaning up my act when I was 23, went back to school, and I transferred out to Hawaii, University of Hawaii, just on academics.
Okay.
And when I was out there, that's when I just randomly was waiting for my bus, and I kind of looked over. I was like, oh, what's that? And I saw they were doing MMA. It was an MMA gym called the Bull's Pen, and the Bull's Pen in Oahu. And so I just watched the first day, and the next day I went back and did the free class, and then I was like, oh man, I loved it. So then, like, the owner of the gym basically kind of like let me train for free because I had experience wrestling and boxing, and I was tough. I was gotten a lot of street fights, so I was not afraid to spar by any means. And so I kind of would like help his guys that were getting ready for fights, and I did that for a few months. And then once I dropped out of school and came back home, by that time I was almost about to be 25. I was like, well, shit, man, I'm gonna make a run for it. I want to make a run for it. Now is the time. And I just jumped in. And at the time when I decided to fight, I was like 310 pounds, and like fat, and had like long hair and a beard. And I was like, I'm gonna be a pro fighter. People just laughed at me. People basically laughed at me when I said I was gonna be a pro fighter. And so then I just went and just got to work, and that's how that happened. And basically, so like, funny story. I walk into the gym. It was North County Fight Club was the name of the team. It had like really good guys like Jason Lambert and Eddie Sanchez that were already in the UFC.
Yep.
And this is back in 2006. And so at first I started taking the public classes, like the normal jiu-jitsu, the normal kickboxing classes. And then once I started beating people up in the normal classes, then they invited me to train with the team.
Okay.
And then when I was training with the team, I trained like consistently for like 3 months. And then I got an opportunity to go fight on the Strikeforce card. It was a smaller one. It wasn't one of the big ones, but it was still like in an amphitheater with like 3,000 people. So it's pretty big.
Yeah, it was. What year was that? That was like 2000. What, like
2007?
Yeah, right. Okay, go ahead.
2007, and so I lost my first fight, but I went all 3 rounds. It was crazy, and like I was like, oh man, I want to go back. I want to do it again. And I just got addicted. And I just kept coming back.
Nice. And then you also appeared. I mean, after that, again, everyone has a not a stepping stone. I wouldn't say Strikeforce is a stepping stone, but again, you kind of build your resume, right? Because people have gone from King of the Cage to Ring of Fire to other.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was kind of like short notice, so I was very fortunate that I even got to be on that Strikeforce card right at the gate. Okay. Then I went back and I fought on my local show, which was called Total Combat, based in San Diego, and a lot of great fighters like myself. Dominic Cruz was the Total Combat champion. Like all like the studs that came out of Shannon Gugerty, like all the guys that made it to the UFC essentially came through that show. Gotcha. From San Diego. And so I did that. I got like 5 wins in a row. Lost to Tony Lopez the first time, and then got my arm broke, had to take like 9 months off, healed that, and then I was just on a samurai mission after that. I just wanted to fight his ass. and then I got five more wins in a row, all first round stoppages, and then finally got a rematch with him, lost a 5-round decision, which was baloney, but whatever. And then 2 fights later, I fought Houston Alexander, knocked him out in the 2nd round, and then got in the UFC.
And that was it. Your debut was UFC 109, correct?
Correct, against Hollis Gracie.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you explain maybe that moment? Did you feel like things were going towards something? You got into the UFC. That's what you wanted to do. You said it since you were small. People made fun of you. People didn't take you serious. Now here you are. Your UFC debut 109. You're in the UFC, man. You're in the biggest stage.
I mean, it was more so like me fighting against the event more so than me fighting the opponent. Like, I knew that I could beat Hollis Gracie. He was just a big guy that was good at jiu-jitsu. Like, I knew if I could essentially just sprawl and brawl and maybe escape once, like, I would beat him.
Yeah.
That's basically how the fight went. Like, I stopped him in the middle of the 2nd round. But it was just more so like being in, like, the nerves, being in the back, going through the whole process. Like Burt Watson coming in the back yelling, like, "We rolling!" Like, oh shit! Like, this is real. This is real.
Yeah.
This is really happening.
That's awesome.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah. But after that, like, it was cool. I still got nervous, so nervous. Like I never mastered the whole mental aspect of fighting until like recently. But like, so like UFC, I was always so spooked, so freaked out. Mm-hmm. And but like,
what's going through your mind?
So weird. Like
what's going through your mind when you're in the locker room? Like you said, you're ready, you're getting focused, you're about to get called out. You have Burt Watson come in and say, "We rolling." What's going through your mind? Are you still stuck on the game plan, or are you trying, you're a place in Zen where you're just trying to relax more than anything? Just that before that final walkout, where is your mind?
I mean, honestly, every fight was different. Every fight was different. And every fight, because like it was like very much trial and error, like me finding my mental protocols per se, you know, like my mental process, like how to deal with the actual fight.
Yes, sir.
And then also too, like what was going on in my personal life always played a huge part, you know, because I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it for you. Like before the UFC, when I was on that 3-year grind, because I got the UFC in 3 years,
Yes, sir.
3 years of fighting. I was just like grind. If I fought Friday, I would party that night, and then like back in the gym Monday. Let's go. On to the next one. And I never really I didn't have money. Like I was a starving fighter, you know, like everybody else. And then once like I got to the UFC, and also we had money, and now we're going to like VIP rooms, and now we're having fun in Vegas. And I was like, then like all, you know, like my alcoholism came back roaring like a monster, you know. It's like they say it's a progressive illness. It's true. Just because it's like you may think that it's dormant or you got it beat for a second, but that motherfucker will come back. And it came back really hard for me, and it was a really learning process and growing pains, you know, going through, like I said, fighting alcoholism, drug addiction, a failed marriage, and so many other personal shit.
Yeah.
All while fighting in the fucking UFC against killers. And so like there'd be times like I remember vividly like this like Stipe Miocic fight, like fucking in the back, like you're gonna get fucked up, Joey. You're gonna get fucked up right now, and you deserve it because you're a piece of shit. Like because I was being a horrible husband, like cheating on my wife, like sneaking drugs, like just being a bad dude, being a bad person. And so like I would still have to suit up and show up for the fucking fight. And so I'd be like, oh, freaked out. And I remember like getting out there and boom, I started getting hit a couple of times. And like, I woke up and like made it like a crazy brawl. And it was like, but during the fight too, the negative self-talk was still going on. And I was like, dude, you're fucking embarrassing yourself out here, Joey. What the fuck are you doing? Like, you're embarrassing yourself. Cause I missed like a couple big hooks. Like,
So you would,
afterwards, I watched the fight. I was like, oh my God, dude, it was so close. So close. Like that would have been a great win under my cap. But you know, whatever, it wasn't meant to be. It's all a learning process and growing as a person, growing as a fighter. And now, I mean, like, it's I don't gotta deal with that shit no more. And it's one day at a time dealing with my alcoholism. And as far as my mental protocols, like as far as before the fight, like I have a whole system in place. I have a mental coach now that I've been working with the entire time. And I mean, the results speak for themselves. It's not like I've gotten faster or bigger, faster, stronger in my 38th, 39th year of life. Like something clicked in my head. And I'm like, no, I'm better than these motherfuckers. I really am. I've always have been. I really feel like I always have been. You know, when I look back at my fights, there's no reason why I shouldn't have been competitive. Like I'm a short, chubby Mexican, not athletic, and got 2 broken knees from high school football. But some way, somehow, like I'm dragging these world-class athletes into fucking ballroom brawls and like making it crazy competitive. And so now, like I go into the match, I know what I'm doing, I know what the game plan is, and I know that I'm gonna win and I'm gonna execute. You know?
You think if you had you said like your coach, you think if you had that coach back in the UFC at that time, mentally you would be you would have done a lot better? Again, you didn't do that.
I mean, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. But it wasn't that's not how my story was meant to be. You know, my story was I had to go through all that shit. I had to get essentially to like the top of the sport and lose everything and like be sitting with nothing. Like after the Bellator fight, my last Bellator fight I think was December of 2016. I got knocked out by Alessio Sakara.
Yep.
And then after that, like, boom, I didn't fight for like 15 months. I fucking fell really hard, went to rehab, got divorced. Like I was fucking broke, sleeping on my sister's couch, like fucking 36 years old. I'm like, well, what are we gonna do? Is this how the story's gonna end? Like, fuck no, it's not. It's not. And I just fucking started building everything back up. And then like, here we go. Here we are,
And
you know?
then I could technically say you're an OG of the bare knuckle boxing because technically you were there since day one, right? We could say that, right?
Exactly.
Right. So
Exactly, man. And that was the initial appeal of it, because the whole bare knuckle thing kind of happened by surprise, to be honest with you, because I went out. I remember I went to rehab and I came out in December of 2018.
Okay.
18, yeah. And then in was 2017. I'm sorry, 2017, December 2017. Because then in February of 2018, I was just driving for Amazon, like fucking hating life.
Okay.
Those guys are fucking slave drivers, by the way. If that's a whole nother interview. Like, and I remember I was sitting there like
That's my
eating
full-time
a
job.
burger.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah.
just with you.
Oh, if you did it, respect, because that's a fucking hard ass
No,
job.
I know several people that do it, but yeah, I don't do that.
It's a hard fucking job, man. They should pay those people way more.
Yeah.
And I was like eating a fucking cheeseburger and just like on my lunch break, just hating life. And then my old manager, called me up. He's like, "Hey, champ, how you doing?" Oh, what? He's like, "Are you in shape?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, you know." And then, "Yeah, of course I am. You know me, I always train." He's like, "Well, Sergey Karatanov, 5 weeks, 20-20 out in Russia. What do you think?" I said, "Let's fucking do it. Let's do it." Like, I had fucking like $0 in my name. I was like, 20 G's, let's go. Let's go. And I went out there, and Sergey was on like a 6-fight, 6 knockout streak.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out there and we went all 3 rounds. Like, I fucking busted his face open with an elbow. It was great. Good fight. Everybody was happy. Went all 3 rounds. And then afterwards, I was like, all right, man, I still got it in me. I can still do this. Came home. I started training, started losing weight and get back into fighting shape. And I couldn't get any fights. I couldn't get any like regional shows to build my record back up to get into a bigger show.
Okay.
And so then randomly, my coach, my old coach, Eric Del Fioro from Alliance, he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, man, you wouldn't be interested in doing this bare knuckle stuff, would you?" I was like, "Yeah, why not, man? That's badass." You know, I was like, "You mean like the gypsies on YouTube?" He's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be in Wyoming. They're signing Beck right now, and I can get you in." I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, Rowdy Beck was our teammate at Alliance. And so if it would have been for her, man, I wouldn't have gotten in. Because
Really?
I piggybacked off her. They really honestly didn't even want me, to be honest. Like, and then like we show up and then we're not even in the tournament. We're on the alternate match for the tournament.
Jeez.
And so the fact that me and Tony Lopez, we were the swing bout, which means we didn't even fucking have a place in the TV lineup. That crazy fight that sold the event might not have been on TV.
That's insane. So
Yeah.
you guys were just like replacements just in case? Like something?
Correct.
Wow.
And so by the grace of God, we got in, we fucking lit the house on fire, and the rest is history, man. I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, man. And now we can officially say that you're the heavyweight champion and you defended it. Like that's awesome, man. And I think I read somewhere that that title hasn't been in the ring since like 1899 or some shit like that.
So 1889 was the last time that the title was won
and defended,
recognized, and then by John L. Sullivan, and then after that, the sport evolved to gloves. So when I won it against Chase Sherman, that was the first time that it was present at ringside that somebody was presented the title. Then when I defended it, I'm literally the only person to ever defend the Police Gazette Diamond Belt. Yep. So it's pretty badass.
That's like awesome, man. That's awesome. And again, like you said, you know, in life you had your ups and downs and stuff. But again, windows and doors open and some doors close. And for you, you are like the living of that sense. It's like you are it. I mean, again, things happen for a reason. Again, that fight that was not even supposed to happen, and you guys like that's nuts though. And if no one's ever seen that fight, I mean, you guys got to check it out. I mean, that was a back and forth battle.
It was voted the bloodiest fight of 2018.
Yeah, it was nuts, but it's crazy though, you know. And again, some people like yourself, man. I'm glad you're doing good and you're striving at bare knuckle. You know, I didn't. Not that I at first when I first saw the glance and I saw it and stuff like that, I didn't think too much of it. But now, I mean, the sport is growing very, very fast. I mean, you have, I believe this weekend you have, Chris Lieben's fighting, Paige is fighting. So the sport itself is attracting more and more people and stuff like that. So it's good to see, you know. But
Yeah, like I said, I'm just sometimes it's cool to sit back and watch, but right now I'm just in fucking work mode, like head down, eye on the prize, and just like I'm not gonna do these guys any favors, man. I've essentially been in a 3-year training camp, and that's, I mean, the results are proven. The proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Now, for your contract, how's the contract like? Is it like they give you like a certain amount, like 3 fights per year, or is it kind of like they go as like they kind of work with your contract as you continue, or how's that work? If you're allowed to talk about that.
I mean, I was on a multi-fight deal, and
Okay.
then I won the last one, so I imagine that I'll be re-signed. I got the belt, so I gotta be re-signed.
Yeah.
But I know the way that like David Feldman works, and a little different than other promoters I'm used to, where like if he says like you're gonna fight in April,
Mm-hmm.
he can say it 3 months from now, and I won't hear from him again. But I'm gonna fight in April.
Well, that's good.
Whereas other people, like, I'm like, I better fucking get a pay. I need to have a contract in my fucking email inbox, or I'm not doing shit. Like, no. Like, I've learned that his word is pretty solid. So we're doing it. We're getting ready to fight.
Then you're good. So you're gonna fight in April?
Yeah.
Do you have your opponent yet, or no? Not yet. It's just
tentatively it's Sam Shoemaker.
Shoemaker.
The Hillbilly Hammer.
All right, man. Again, I'll be rooting for you. I'll be watching like this week. I'll be watching as well. It's really how can you explain boxing compared to bare knuckle? I know because I had Chris Lieben on. He explained a little bit, and he made a really good point about even with like the UFC gloves, and then even with no gloves. I mean, your distance, your reach is a lot different. I mean, you don't. I never, I guess, put that like 2 and 2 together. But if you can explain your perspective on bare knuckle boxing.
The margin of error is so small, as far as where you're hitting somebody as well as when you're gonna get hit. Like I changed my style. Like initially, like the first couple were just like stepping into the unknown. Didn't really know. I was like, just fighting.
Yeah.
Just fighting. And then like I lost the second fight by cuts. And so I was like, well, damn, I don't want to, if you're going to have some longevity, you got to change up your style. My style is super, super high and tight with my defense.
Yeah.
That's what works for me. Other people have other styles, like emphasize on head movement, and they can pull that off.
Uh-huh.
But I come forward. I'm coming forward behind tight defense and just overwhelm people. That's what I do. Not everybody can do what I do, though. So
definitely, man.
I wouldn't necessarily try to coach somebody to fight my style.
Uh-huh.
But like my coaches and I like have accepted who I am, and like we're just fucking trying to make me the best version as possible of myself.
Exactly. Again, it depends on the fighter. Some people have that, some people don't. Some people have good head movement, some people don't. Some people have good footwork, some people don't. So again, at the end of the day, it just really depends on like you said, like the fighter. Depends on the fighter.
Exactly.
Again, I hope I'll be cheering for you the next time you fight. I do appreciate everything you did in the cage, and now that you're doing, bare knuckle, man. I'm a big supporter, man. We believe in you. A lot of people love you. So remember, you have that on your back. That people are cheering for you still, man. All right.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you for the time in the interview, brother.
No, I appreciate you, man. It's been more than a pleasure, and it's been an honor, man. So good luck to you in the future, brother. All right.